They thought it's a third world. Oh my God, it's a bomb shelling. It's a bomb falling.
In fact, it was the unused fireworks from the rained-out Canada Day celebrations.
As long as you take pictures and don't take my plate, you're good.
It's kind of my civic address. I tell people 7863 across the road from all the license plates. Can't miss me.
I had just stocked up the pop fridge, so there was some pop missing, there was candy missing.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. We made it to episode 222 of Keep Canada Weird, our weekly weird news roundup where, as the name suggests, we round up the week's weird Canadian news. We're going to do it again, and I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. This is a special one. I'm going to tell you right now. Buckle your seatbelt.
Oh, censoring yourself already after last week's episode, all that talk that we had at the end of the episode. So we gotta tread a little more lighter this week, maybe.
Well, I'm definitely going to level it up this week. I'm so excited to get started. As you recall, in episode 221, I had a hell of a time trying to find anything interesting to say about the number 221. I couldn't do it. I saw it as a personal failure. So I'm here this week in episode 222 for redemption. Have you ever heard of the One Ring scam?
No, I haven't.
Okay, this is actually interesting. The One Ring scam, also known as the 222 scam, uses automated calls that call your house and ring once or twice before the line disconnects. Many of the calls appear to come from numbers beginning with the area code 222, which isn't an area code at all. It's the country code for a place called Mauritania in West Africa. You get up and you're a little curious about who the hell is this calling me? And you call that number back. And when you call it back, it's actually like a pay by minute kind of number. And what it does when you call it, it just plays random sounds and little clips of TV shows and nonsense with the goal of keeping you on the line as long as possible so that you incur charges that go to the scammers. And this 222 scam, or the One Ring scam, has been going on for years.
It rang twice and it stopped. I took a look at it and I didn't recognize the number, so I just went back to bed. And it happened again 10 minutes later.
All from Mauritania in Africa.
I sort of got concerned that it could be one of my children that are away at college, so that I did call the number back. And all I heard was a little bit of muffling in the background of a gentleman speaking. I couldn't make out what he was saying.
Michelle fell for the trap. Her calling back is exactly what the scammers want.
When you do call back, these are like the old psychic hotline numbers. They're caller pays, so you could be on the hook for $2, $3, even more per minute.
Wow. Good scam. Good quality scam. Yeah, I like that.
And I think it would work if I got a call at, 4 a.m. from a 222 area code. I'd be like, what is this? I would probably be pretty tempted to call it. And if I called it and started hearing some weird radio signals, I'm the type that I'd sit there all night. I'd be like pen and paper taking notes, incurring charges.
Yeah. Well, I would never have called it back to begin with. If it rang twice and then disconnected, then I would have gone right back to bed and not given it a second thought.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Is this redemption? Is that an interesting fact about the number 222?
It's your best one yet. I will give you that.
Good.
It wasn't, it involved an area code, but it was a really interesting backstory about this area code. And yeah, so it had some meat to the bones, I must say.
Good.
We'll see if next week you can deliver something as high quality as that. Because if you don't, then you might as well give up on the numbers segment, because once you plateau and then you can't rebound after that, it's just humiliating. You'll just be, everyone will be laughing at you, and we'll lose another couple 100,000 subscribers as well, on top of the, countless that we've lost already since you've started the numbers segment at the top of the show.
Yeah. For anyone new to Keep Canada Weird, just so you know what's going on here, as we start the show, I start the show by trying to find something interesting to correspond with the numeric episode number. And what we do once that's done is we get into our special drinks, which is the little drink that will keep Aaron and I refreshed, rejuvenated, and excited throughout the episode. You got anything special over there to propel your way through this?
I don't have anything unusual or out of the ordinary. For me, I have a decaffeinated Earl Grey tea with almond milk and Splenda.
Okay, I like that. No shade thrown towards you. I got something interesting. I think, I don't know if we've ever had this on the show, but we did have a listener call in, I believe, and they were having a dirty Mountain Dew cream soda. 0 sugar. There's probably a ton of caffeine, enough to kill a small horse, I imagine. Let me give it a drink. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious. Thank you, geniuses at Mountain Dew. Let's pass the mic over to our friend Zach from Pittsburgh. He wants to crack open a special drink with us. And I think it's an adult one.
Oh.
All right, what's up, guys? It's your boy Zach from Pittsburgh. My special drink is an Ale Smith Speedway Stout, clocking in at 12% alcohol and with coffee. Love me a good stout. Love me this podcast, and sometimes when I'm calling in, I may or may not be under the influence of a couple stouts, so apologies for any of the ones that have been incoherent. But hey, cheers from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and to all the listeners out there, cheers as well.
And cheers to you, Zach. That's a real American drink. The strongest beer I've ever heard of cut with coffee.
12% alcohol. That is a mega beer.
Yeah, is that more than wine? Like, wine's around.
That's in the ballpark. Wine's a little bit more, usually maybe 13, 14%, but that's up there. 12% for a beer. Two of those, and I would have my shirt off. I'd have a lampshade on my head, and I'd be lying in a ditch.
Yeah. And where does the coffee come into it? Like, what? I worry about Zach from Pittsburgh's heart.
No, me too. I mean, I'm sitting here drinking a decaffeinated Earl Grey tea with oat milk and Splenda. I mean, I lay in the shadow of Zachary.
Yeah, and Zachary is like alone listening with basically liquid cocaine.
Yeah, but, you know, some people live complicated lives and they just need a way to get through. And that's his cocaine, and stouts are his gasoline.
I guess so. Speaking of finding a way to get through, I want to open the show with a story that is just burning a hole in my pocket. I'm dying to tell you about the story of the unexpected fireworks that created a whole mess in Ottawa. This is a really interesting one because it starts out as a bit of a what I think they thought would have been a celebration, a great time, a great way to kick off the first night of the Ottawa Blues Fest, has led to a bunch of cranky people on the news complaining about the government's decisions. Let's hear how the whole thing goes wrong with the unannounced fireworks controversy and the many Karens that floated to the surface as a result.
It was this sound that startled residents in Ottawa's downtown Thursday night. Some thought it was an attack.
They thought it's a third world. Oh my God, it's a bomb shelling. It's a bomb falling.
Others, a thunderstorm.
I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was more thunderstorms, but turns out it was fireworks.
In fact, it was the unused fireworks from the rained-out Canada Day celebrations set off at the end of Blues Fest's opening night.
Very close to our building. Our building was shaky. It's only five-floor building.
The show started just before 11 p.m. and lasted around 11 to 12 minutes, a welcome surprise for festival attendees.
I was like, oh, that's super exciting. Like, it's kind of like the opening night. Makes sense to, you know, start off with a bang.
But for residents across the downtown core, the loud explosions were disruptive.
Oh my goodness, we did not sleep well.
I think Noah here was a little bit afraid, also thinking it was thunder, but yeah, she tends to hide underneath one of our side tables, but she ended up being okay.
I will continue to pursue this with the city. I think an inappropriate decision was made.
The city and Canadian Heritage were aware of the plan and say the decision to not notify residents was because of safety risks and to ensure crowds did not exceed safe capacity at Le Breton Flats and surrounding areas. Ottawa Police and Ottawa Fire were also told, but not councillors.
I have seen that the assertion is that it was safer to set the fireworks off rather than try to dismantle and move them. It was done without any notice.
Some residents say a simple heads up would have saved a lot of headaches.
Tell us that things are going to be happen, then we won't think about the Third World War or something is falling from heaven and the world is going to be turmoil.
We're starting off the show strong. I think that may be the story of the night right out the gate, but that was a good one.
Yeah. The reactions to these fireworks. Now, I should state for the record, which I have in the past on this show, that I don't like fireworks. I don't get it. It's not my thing. But I certainly, if unexpected fireworks had started going off in my neighborhood, I would hear the first couple of pops and I'd be like, oh, what's that? And I would look out and see fireworks and I'd be like, oh, it's fireworks. It'll be over in 10 minutes.
And I think I'd put it together pretty quick because if you're in Ottawa, you probably know that the fireworks from Canada Day were canceled. So I'd probably be like, oh, they're probably just shooting off the Canada Day ones, whatever.
Yeah, or whatever. There's a number of reasons that cities and municipalities shoot off fireworks. And a blues fest could be one of them or whatever it was that was going on. So the reaction to these neighbors in the area, it's like, wow, there's like even the woman, one of my favorites is the woman. She's like, yeah, it scared my dog. And then, she was fine.
I think Noah here was a little bit afraid, also thinking it was thunder, but she ended up being okay.
We heard from 3 different people really in that clip. There was the woman with the dog, and then there was the woman who overreacted to the maximum.
Then we won't think about the Third World War or something is falling from heaven and the world is going to be turmoil.
That poor lady is more afraid of fireworks and the Third World War than anyone I've ever heard of. And then we had Darren, who was the kind of, I give him Darren as the male version of Karen. He was the fella who, I think he maybe was a politician or something, but he was going to look into it and it was inappropriate.
Yeah.
I will continue to pursue this with the city. I think an inappropriate decision was made.
Yeah, fireworks killjoy, Johnny.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, the lady that was freaking out the most, she was talking about her building, her apartment building, and how it was shaking. And I'm like, if your apartment building is shaking from fireworks, I don't think the fireworks is the issue. I think you may want to talk to your landlord about the structural integrity of your building that you're living in. It's not the city's problem that her apartment building is made of popsicle sticks. It's really...
It's true.
It's just really not. So I think she needs to move and relax because her blood pressure, I am concerned about it.
I certainly am concerned about it. There are 2 points of the story, though, that I want to mention, and this is, I guess, to support the city's decision-making. One is that they had all these fireworks that were unused. They claim it was too much of a risk to, dispose of them or not use them. It was less risky to just set the things off. And I think that's logical. If you had a bunch of, explosives down on the beach, it would probably make more sense to just shoot them off down on the beach rather than, put them back in their boxes and put them in a truck and move them somewhere else. I think I agree with that reasoning.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if there was, I'm sure there's fire hazards involved for fireworks that are laying around unused. So, yeah, I agree with lighting them off. I mean, sure, it would have been good to give some notice. I can meet them halfway there.
Yeah, but think about this, though, is the Ottawa Blues Fest is happening. That's like a large outdoor concert series. So there'd be a lot of people downtown for Blues Fest. If you announce the Canada Day fireworks are also going on, then you have all these other people that are showing up that don't have tickets to Blues Fest, and it would just make kind of, chaos. So I can understand their decision making. Okay. I looked into this, actually. One thing I was thinking is I know the band Limp Bizkit played at Ottawa Blues Fest. I was trying to see if they played this night. They didn't,
They didn't that night, no, yeah.
They were a different night. They they had Tom Green up on stage, which would have been really cool to see.
Yeah. So, now that you mention that, maybe the way they approached it did make sense. It would be good to have included in this story a statement from a city official to say, here's exactly what our logic was and why we didn't announce it. But
I just told you their logic. They didn't want to.
You did tell me it, but I'm just saying that.
You want to hear it from them?
No, I'm just saying for the people that are directly affected, not for you and me. We don't matter in this story.
That's true.
It's for the people that are that live in popsicle stick apartment buildings.
And are worried about the Third World War, turmoil, and things falling from the sky. That poor lady, I feel for her. I hope she's not listening, because the next series of stories after our first break is a segment of stories she's not going to like. It's about dumb Canadian crime, dumb Canadian criminals, and some of these stories are a little bit terrifying. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to hear about the ever-increasing risk being faced to people who buy, sell, and collect Pokemon cards.
This is Lawrence from Vancouver. Keep Canada Weird. We'll be right back after this short break.
Handsome Aaron Airport, if you were even on the fence about collecting Pokemon cards, I want to caution you, listen to this next story before you decide to get into the hobby. We've heard so many stories related to people stealing Pokemon cards on Facebook, scamming people, doing all sorts of antisocial things, a hell of a lot of shoplifting, but I don't know if we've heard a story that's this troublesome. An armed robber walked into a Pokemon card store in St. Alexis, Quebec, and held the owners and customers at gunpoint while stuffing a treasure trove of Pokemon cards into a hockey bag. And it gets worse. As the Pokemon card robber walked out of the store owners chased them with baseball bats. Here's the story of the armed Pokemon robbery in Montreal.
On the morning of June 18th, security video shows a man walk into the Missing No Pokemon card store in St. Alexis, holding what appears to be a firearm. He's not looking for cash, but for expensive collectibles.
Came inside, so I step up and I went to him. Then he showed me a gun, and he tell to everyone to stand up.
The store was full of customers, one a 10-year-old boy. They stand paralyzed while the robber fills a hockey bag with $30,000 worth of merchandise. On his way out the door, gun still in hand, he says thank you. But owners Jean-François Etu and Charles Bro-Parizeau weren't going to let him get away easy. They burst out of the store with baseball bats, smashing the robber's taillights and passenger side window as he speeds away.
We want to the police recognize the car.
Their strategy worked. About 2 hours later, police arrested Danny El Awar. He's facing 3 charges related to this robbery and several more charges related to a string of other robberies dating back to April.
He already had the time to take the hockey bag with all the stuff that he stole to us and give them to another person. Okay. So we didn't get our stock back.
Customers at Missing No now have to buzz to get in. There's a button behind the till that unlocks the front door and extra security cameras covering every square inch of the store. These bars were installed 2 years ago when the store first opened, as the value of Pokemon cards began to skyrocket.
We're in 2026, so right now the game is like this. You have to take your responsibility and have protection for your customer.
He says it was only 3 days after the robbery that he fully realized how dangerous a situation he'd been in.
Oh, that was a mess. That could have ended up being a lot worse. If you have someone who's crazy enough to go into a Pokemon card store with a gun and a mask on and rob the place, that person's crazy enough to do something foolish like kill a man over Pokemon cards. And it seems like that's where this is going.
Oh, no, that's totally where this is going. We're hearing stories all the time about violent Pokemon card robberies with weapons involved. There's ones going around where somebody is like bear spraying people and setting up a meeting to buy a card or something, and then they spray them with bear spray or pepper spray or something, and then take the card and run.
That was the Facebook Marketplace kind of scam we heard of. Not scam, but like setup. They would find someone selling an expensive card on Marketplace and get them to meet somewhere, pepper spray them, take the card and take off. We've heard of stores getting broken into and shoplifting incidents, but this is like a traditional like bank robbery. It's like walking in there with a gun and just saying, fill my bag up. and then walking out of there. That's what this guy did.
Well, actually, to give this criminal a little bit of credit, he did fill it up himself.
Yeah, he wasn't lazy. And he said thank you as he walked out of there.
And he said thank you. So he was not looking to hurt anybody, but he did take a gun out. There was a child, a 10-year-old child in the shop. I can't imagine how traumatizing that's going to be for this child. Hopefully they say, you know what? I'm not interested in Pokemon cards anymore.
That's not what I signed up for.
This is not worth it.
Yeah, that would definitely give you a moment of realization that I wish the criminal had had. Like going into a collectible Pokemon card store with a gun and a mask on to steal it, you must feel pretty little. Like that's a pretty nerdy crime to commit. And then as you're committing the crime and you just look over to your right and you see like a 10-year-old kid with, a Pokemon shirt on, crying, holding his cards, you must think like, I'm an absolute piece of garbage.
I don't think he thinks that. I think he thinks, these cards, for whatever reason, are worth a fortune, and I want money, so I'm going to steal them because the cards will get me money. It's as simple as that. I don't think he feels embarrassed about it, and it's just so unfortunate that the plan that they had at the end, when the shop owner and the employees, they chased after him and they hit the car with baseball bats to mark up the car.
Yeah.
The police are able to recognize the car, catch the guy, but it's too late. He's already sold the cards or gave them to somebody for money. To hear that news, though, as the shop owner, to hear we got him, but unfortunately he had already disposed of the cards.
Yeah, that's you risk so much doing that. Like if someone had a gun, I couldn't imagine, even with testosterone pumping and all this stuff, adrenaline pumping, I think is the word, not testosterone. With adrenaline pumping, I couldn't imagine grabbing a bat and chasing after a guy with a gun, smashing his windshield. It did work. They did get the guy, and it seemed like smashing up the car was one of the tips that led the police to this guy. But not getting the cards back, they'd have insurance anyway.
Yeah, I guess that would be something to keep in mind. But
there's probably a big deductible, meaning like he's probably, if they stole 30 grand of stuff, the shop's probably only getting, 20,000 of that back or whatever, which, it's a big loss, but it's already like they're losing a lot of money on loss prevention. As you heard at the end of that clip, it talked about, bars on the windows. They have cameras all over the place. Now you got a buzz to get in. It is run like a bank, and it has to be because of the value of these things. What I find crazy about this story and related stories is just how, for whatever reason, these collectible cards have just blown up in popularity, that this is what it's become. People are scrapping at Costco. We've heard that story several times. Bear spraying each other, armed robberies, all for collectible cards. And they're not even that cool because they're not like a numbered collection of hockey cards. When we were kids, you would get like the set of cards. Pokemon cards are a part of like a card game. So they're not really like, they're being collected the way we would have collected hockey cards, but they're actually designed to be like a card game that you play. But for some reason, they become so collectible that Canadians and people around the world are losing their minds.
Yeah, well, when you put rare ones in there that generate value to people, it really is the fault of the company making these cards.
Nah, I guess it's just good marketing. Whatever they're doing,
it's great marketing, and the more violent it gets, the more value to these cards there will be. So it's only making it worse whenever you see circumstances like this, when someone robs a collectible store with a handgun.
Yeah.
And that makes the cards even more valuable and makes the problem even worse. And so the only answer I can think is to get rid of these cards. Illegal.
Yep.
Gone. Done. Send it underground, let the dark web worry about it.
Let's move on to another story. So we may ban Pokemon cards. We're on the fence about that. This next story may make us ban sandcastles or possibly find larger fences to put around them. Something horrible happened at Beach Fest in Parksville, British Columbia, just hours before judging was to take place in the sand sculpture competition. It was discovered that some vandals had climbed on them, kicked them, and made a mess of many enormous and, prior to this, beautiful sand sculptures. Here's the story of some sand castle vandalism in British Columbia.
RCMP in Parksville are looking for a vandal after someone targeted the region's iconic sandcastle competition. Early Sunday morning, staff with the Parksville Beach Festival International Sandcastle Competition discovered 4 sculptures with significant damage. Organizers believe someone snuck onto the festival grounds overnight despite the presence of security and kicked in and climbed on the elaborate works of art. The competition is over, but 2 sculptors are still on site repairing the damage. The Parksville Beach Festival Society is offering a reward for information that helps identify whoever is responsible.
We called the RCMP, called the city of Parksville because there's cameras throughout the park, and began to piece some of the evidence that we had together. And so we're moving forward in that way.
The damaged sculptures were created by artists in the doubles category. Competitors in that category agreed to split $9,300 worth of prize money.
For people who can't see the video or haven't seen this article, they were beautiful and are beautiful sand sculptures. These aren't just like your run-of-the-mill sandcastles on the beach. This is some, highbrow stuff.
Yeah, it took a lot of effort, a lot of talent to make these, a lot of time. So certainly I can understand the frustration of the individuals involved here to see their hard work completely destroyed by vandals. But there wasn't a lot mentioned about the type of security that they say was present on the beach that was supposed to be protecting these beautiful sculptures.
How much? It's not like they're going to have crazy security for these sand sculptures. There's probably like 1 or 2 security guards who are on their phone somewhere by like the front gate, and somebody came and did this. But I think that there's a bit more to this than meets the eye. When we heard in that news clip, we heard a female voice who was speaking on behalf of the festival and saying, we're talking to people, we're trying to get the camera footage, we're going to put this together and investigate it that way, putting together the evidence and, working through it. It doesn't sound like she's talking about a couple teenagers who walked by and kicked these sand sculptures. And the evidence left behind also doesn't sound that much like a crime of opportunity. The interesting thing is these sand sculptures, it's not like someone just walked up and pushed them over and kicked them. The damage seemed to be in the more elaborate and ornate areas. Oftentimes, the damage was very high up on these things, and it almost seems like it was a deliberate thing to like cause trouble at the sand sculpture competition. Could there be, let me just speculate like a madman, could there be a rival sandcastle group? Could there be a neighbor who is so upset about the people making sand sculptures on the beach that they wanted to do harm? Like, I think there's more to this.
Well, that was what my thought was too when I first saw this story. The question I have is that was every competitor's sand sculpture damaged? And I don't think it was.
No, I don't think it was either.
I would look to the people first. My initial suspects and the people who I'd question first would be whoever's sand sculpture didn't get damaged. So and probably what it was is the people who were in the competition were seeing some of the sand sculptures, getting nervous that they were going to lose this year, and hired some teenagers. Because teenagers are very hireable to be vandals. Because first off, they love to vandalize. And second, they're broke, so they can use the money. And they don't need a lot of money to encourage them to commit a crime like this. So I think one of the competitors hired teenagers to come in the dark of night, cause the damage, and they instructed them, make sure you hit them high. because that's the hardest to repair.
This is a bit of it's giving Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan, the figure skating thing. Like I could see a situation where there's somebody who's been in the sand sculpture competition for years, felt like they deserved the win every year and didn't get it. This year was their year to make it happen.
Yeah.
But there's this new up and coming sand castle building guy, and he's really good.
That's right.
Maybe too good.
That's right. So that's where the motivation would be. The motive would be strongest is from those competitors.
Yeah.
But let's also, sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one. Can you imagine a teenager or a group of teenagers walking by just casually, hanging out on the beach at nighttime, and seeing these sculptures? And it's like, don't push the big red button. Don't push the big red button.
Yeah.
Teenagers see these sculptures in the sand, elaborate, took time, people cared about them. Of course they're going to want to vandalize them. And maybe it's a coincidence that they vandalized them in a very specific, unique way. Because maybe they were doing high kicks at them, and that's why the damage is high. Like maybe they were doing karate kicks and
that could be
jump kicks and things like that.
That is possible. I feel like I consider the teenage terror angle. I feel like if it was a group of teenagers, there'd be nothing left except a pile of sand, as if those sculptures never existed. They would trample all over them, not just mess up the eyes or the ears or the elaborate carvings. I think, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to this story. I think you're taking a big risk building sand castles. It's a real shame because it does sound like it's a great community.
It is, yeah.
When all of this happened, damage to a bunch of the sand castles, everybody kind of stopped building and started working together to repair each other's statues or sculptures or whatever the word for it would be.
Right.
So I think in the end, this highlights the amazing community of sand sculpture artists in, what's the name of this place? Parksville, BC.
Right. Well, I'll just finish by saying two things. Another suspect that I wouldn't rule out are birds, swooping birds.
Oh, I will say, in sand on the beach, I worked with this guy once, and he went to the beach one summer, and he fell asleep in the sand, and then he ended up there was some kind of bug or something in the sand. When he came to work, he missed a couple days at work. Let's say this happened on the weekend. He missed Monday, Tuesday. When he came to work Wednesday, he was covered in these welts and sores because there was some bug in the sand that just ate him alive as he slept on the beach. So what if these sand sculptures were built with some kind of sand that was the home of all these little parasites, and some Canadian geese maybe or something swooped down and vandalized?
Yeah, absolutely. They could have done that. So, and I would also suggest to the organizers of this event, have it be so that it all happens in one day. So the building starts in the morning. They build the sand castle as best as they can within a time frame of one day. And then the winner is revealed that evening. And then when they leave, whatever happens to them,
all bets are off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. When are you going to do judging? We're going to judge at sundown. You have from sunrise to sunset, and that's when we're doing it. We're going to do the judging when the sun sets, then we'll have the fireworks, and then we're going to drink some of that, 35% beer from Pittsburgh.
That's right. And then we're going to do cocaine.
Let's move on to our final story related to dumb Canadian crimes. This one seems to be a bit of a callback to something we've talked about before. We heard the story of an ice cream shop that was somewhere between a store and a food truck that had a whole bunch of ice cream stolen from them. There's a food truck marketplace in Victoria, BC that is worried that they're next and that there are a bunch of sitting ducks. A string of break-ins at Victoria's Royal Athletic Park has cost food truck owners their locks, their door handles, and a whole bunch of their chips and pop. Here's the story.
So it looks like they tried to pry open our window.
It was a couple weeks ago when Jackie Taken noticed the damage on her food truck, Cuparoni. That was ahead of a baseball game at Victoria's Royal Athletic Park, where the truck stays for much of the summer.
When they came the second time, they actually took a grinder and grinded off our latch here.
She says it's unclear what the people who broke in are trying to get, as there isn't money or valuables inside.
I had just stocked up the pop fridge, so there was some pop missing, there was candy missing, and then after that we noticed some tools were missing.
She walked down the park's line of food trucks and noticed all of them were damaged.
They were all hit since the beginning of the season.
Most of them twice.
These food trucks in general, I'm sure like any other owner would let you know, like they are our babies and, you know, it's how we make a living.
This food truck owner found cosmetic damage on June 30th.
It does seem like, you know, a place where we would be safe.
The City of Victoria owns the park and has a user agreement with the Harbour Cats.
Typically, for any of our permit holders and agreements that we have with providers for events within the facility, they're required to provide security and insurance for their own infrastructure while they're operating within the facility.
Leaving the question of who's responsible for protecting the food trucks.
And then the back door here as well, Anna, was they had to redo this lock completely.
The team's managing partner says a solution can be found in the club, city, and police working together.
We've had conversations. They are willing to look at different approaches that haven't been tried before.
Jim Swanson says that includes new cameras installed by Vic PD. He hopes they help identify the people who he says broke in again on Sunday and Monday.
I'm willing to have a sleepover here a few nights in a row if that's what it takes to find somebody and identify them. We're tired of it and we want it to end.
He says discussions about improved security measures continue. Until then, the food truck owners plan on patching up their trucks and rolling forward.
Seems like a string of petty crimes. A bunch of chips, pop, tools were stolen, as they said. They didn't describe what tools, but it seems that these tools were probably just used to break back into the other food truck to get their chips and pop.
Yeah, it's pretty low-level items that they're getting. It's a lot of risk for very little reward. So it's interesting that it's happening as much as it is. I'm not sure really what these vandals / thieves are trying to accomplish here.
Well, I think it's a crime of opportunity. The police aren't going to take this seriously because it's a bunch of chips and pop getting stolen from food trucks. It's probably underage. I'm thinking this is a teenager situation. They probably know themselves, even if they get caught, it's going to be by some security guard who doesn't give a crap and they'll just run off. And if the police get them, nothing's going to happen anyway. I think it's just very little risk as they perceive it for a small reward. Some chips and pop, probably more so than the chips and pop. It's curing some boredom on a Saturday night for these kids. But who I'm worried about is these kids. If that man, I don't know, he was like the organizer or some kind of leader within the food truck thing. He's proposing a camp out to catch these guys. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, that could turn on him, because if it's a group of teenagers, which I'm not convinced of yet, I wouldn't put it past swooping birds to be responsible for this one as well.
Well, I think this does have a lot of commonalities with the sand sculptures. If you have a bunch of sand sculptures on a beach, something's going to happen. If you have a bunch of food trucks in a parking lot, something's going to happen.
That's right. And the birds would love the chips and the pop and the hot dogs and whatever else they seem to have. And if they're swooping fast enough, I mean, they could really cause some damage onto these food trucks. So I would never underestimate swooping birds.
I'm going to lean on the side of teenagers for this one. It's the only people I could see being motivated to do this.
I know. It's funny because teenagers are always labeled as unmotivated people, but on this show, whenever there's petty crime and vandalism, they're the most highly motivated people that we can think of.
And capable and resourceful.
That's right, and fast.
Speaking of being resourceful and capable, I want to pass the mic to a voicemail from a listener who shares a story of a neighbor being scammed. We talk a lot about scams targeting the elderly, and we feel bad for the vulnerable people for falling for these scams. This correspondent has a story of a neighbor who it's kind of hard to feel sorry for them. They got scammed, but in such a ridiculous way that you're kind of just like, yeah, here it comes.
Hi, Jordan. Hi, Aaron. This is Allie. And I am calling because of the like scams and like the money and bank scamming things that you guys have been recently talking about, and like how they always target seniors. So I'm not going to say like where I'm from just for the sake of this person, but my parents' neighbor fell for like a over the phone scam, and she gave her banking information and then later called her bank and was like, was that you guys? And they were like, no. So they like froze her accounts and like did the things. And literally the next day, the scammers called her again and were like, hey, your banking information didn't go through. Did you change your banking information? And she was like, yes, I did. And then gave them her new banking information.
Oh, God.
And then immediately had to call the bank and be like, oops, did it again. The next day. I have no words. Love the podcast. Bye.
Oh, it's like I said, it's hard to feel bad for them if that happens.
Yeah, at that point in time, you absolutely deserve it. You should fall for it again and again and again. You're going to have your bank account taken away from you is what the bank's going to end up doing. They're like, you can't be responsible with this, so you can't have it.
I could see how the scammer could try it. Even the scammer is like, this will never work. He or she probably called her and he's like, yeah, I'm here to, it didn't work. And she's like, oh yeah, I was talking to the bank and they told me, they changed it because of a scam. And he's like, no, this is the bank. We need to get that new info.
Yeah, we'd lost it. That new bank information we set you up with? We lost it. We're the bank. So you give that to us and then everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Why is she friends with this person?
Well,
that's another question.
I don't think she is. It's her parents' neighbor.
Okay.
What a hilarious neighbor to have. I bet you her parents have a lot of great stories about this neighbor.
Well, what I would do is start scamming them. Because if they're that susceptible to scams, it's like, well, just go and keep scamming them over and over again. Like, you don't have to be from another country kind of calling in with fake numbers and this and that. You can just go over and do just, hey, I'm the bank. I'm going to need your information.
I think it'd probably work. The 222 scam is far too complicated for this lady or this neighbor, whoever it is. But yeah, an interesting one. If anyone out there has a neighbor, a family member, or if you yourself were scammed, we'd love to hear about it. Go to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and send us a voicemail. Tell us the story. And same goes if there's a dumb crime in your area. We may have missed it. So send us a voicemail at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. And if your voicemail's aired on the show, you qualify for a free Keep Canada Weird swag pack. And I'll let you know I just got a big order of stickers delivered to the Keep Canada Weird P.O. box. So I got a bunch of swag packs that are about to go out. Send us a voicemail and maybe you can get yours. While you think of something interesting to say, we're going to have our second and final break. When we get back, we have 2 more stories that these are usually my favorite. They don't fit in any specific theme. They're what I call the WTF weird news stories. After this break, we're going to start with a Halloween story. Handsome Aaron Airport. This is our episode of Keep Canada Weird that will come out on July 17th. That's a summertime thing. This should all be summer stories. But the pricks who are trying to put an end to Halloween start early. And they've come to Orleans, Ontario. A popular Halloween display in the city may not get the chance to spook the neighborhood after a neighbor's preemptive complaint to the Ottawa Bylaw Department. After 26 years of bringing Halloween horror, the Ottawa Bylaw pricks may have busted these ghosts for good. Here's the story, Here's our first Halloween story of the year.
In there, we have the motorcycle guy.
When it comes to Halloween, this is 6-year-old Jackson's favorite place to be.
I helped him out a lot.
But this spooktacular setup, a haunted house and structure made to look like a castle, might have to be torn down.
I was sad.
It's a shame, but I mean, it is what it is. We've been trying to see what we can do continue, without having to take everything apart.
Every October for 26 years, the Albert family has transformed their property on Pintail Terrace into a Halloween wonderland with lineups around the block. But after a complaint in May, a bylaw investigation found several accessory structures associated with the display don't comply with the zoning bylaw and would have to be removed.
I know eventually we'll have to stop because we're getting on with age and it's taking a lot. But I would like it on my own terms, not because somebody decided.
It takes the family and a handful of volunteers 2 months to get it ready.
I don't think it's an eyesore at all.
The family collects donations and estimates it's raised $100,000 for CHEO.
Many people come through saying, thank you, my son goes to CHEO on a regular basis. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting old, but it makes me choke up.
The area councillor committed to finding a solution.
I got in touch with the mayor's office and in touch with our chief of bylaw. There seems to be a real willingness, understanding how important this is to our community, to work through this, to find a way that they can, sort of continue.
The Alberts hoping for that too.
That's been the most important thing that I loved, just to see the looks on their children's faces. Are priceless.
For people not hip to CHEO, in that clip there, it mentioned this money or this Halloween display raising money for a charity called CHEO. CHEO is the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. So this family says they've raised about $100,000 over the years and donated it to the local children's hospital, which is, I think, just makes like an attack on what they're doing worse than just an attack on Halloween. It's also an attack on the children.
Yeah, the sick children.
Nobody's cool with that. But if for people who haven't seen this clip, it seems like what has happened is a part of their Halloween display involves this. It looks like a large castle made of plywood and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess they decorate it during Halloween. But it seems like the rest of the year, they just leave the large wooden castle thing up. And I can see how that could be a problem with a bylaw officer.
Yeah, for sure. So do we think that somebody ratted them out, or did the city figure this out on their own?
The article referred to it as after a complaint this May.
Yeah.
So I don't think if they found it themselves, a bylaw officer's driving down the street and sees a big castle, I don't think they'd call that a complaint.
No, I don't think so either. So they've been doing this for years now, though. This has been a number of years.
That's what's interesting.
So,
well, I don't know if they've had this big castle for a number of years. And I also don't know if all of these years involve them leaving it up year round, or because they say a lot, we're getting old now. I wonder if maybe they're like, we can't be taking this up and down every year.
Yeah. Because I'm wondering what led the complaint to come in this year as opposed to prior years. So maybe the structure has gotten bigger, more elaborate, left up year round. I can see someone like a neighbor who maybe considers it to be an eyesore. And
I could see that too.
Yeah. And is like, if they're going to do it, fine, but they should be taking it down when Halloween is over.
Yeah. And I can understand that to an extent. I think it's, to be neighborly, you have to, kind of put up with some stuff. I get that. But what I think of when I see this, and this is something I see happening in my neighborhood as well, is in my neighborhood, there's so many aging families, like people who've had this house, since the 1960s. They bought it when they were new. They had kids in it. But now they're getting older and they're about to sell the home. So they're considering and they're worried about the market value of their home. So this family, and maybe it's me projecting my own experiences in my neighborhood, but they did mention a lot that we're going to have to stop doing it one time. We want it to be on our own terms. We're getting older. Maybe it's a neighborhood of people who are about to start downsizing and they're worried about selling the home, selling their home with a plywood castle 2 doors down.
Yeah, I would imagine that's the concern. And it's understandable, but at the same time, when they're doing this for children, they're donating all this money to sick children. It's like you just got to keep your mouth shut and you just got to keep going and leave them alone.
I think to an extent, but if it is this community celebration, can they not get some local volunteers to take these things down each year? If the community,
according to you, all the local people are moving away.
The people on the street are moving away, but if they say they get thousands of people visiting this a year. If the demand's there, if thousands of people enjoy it, having this on the news, they should have maybe end it with some kind of call out for support, because I could see a situation where 25 people, 10 people, 5 people sign up and say, yeah, I'll help you take that down. It's worth it.
Well, yeah. And I guarantee, it's not just the issue of the structure being an eyesore year round. I also imagine that the people who live directly around this property are probably tired of the thousands and thousands and thousands of people probably littering their neighborhood all over the place. Like they're
I could see that
showing
an
up
issue.
in their So I get it, but again, it's a tough argument to make when the cause is so good.
Yeah.
And so noble and so just. So I just say to them, just shut up and just sell your house and get whatever you get for it and leave.
Yeah, I like that. Let's move on to another story that I think by law enforcement maybe would have a problem with this one. I don't think any money is going to any cause, but it's certainly a cool story. This comes from, I say your backyard, but it's a little ways away from you. It's a story from Cape Breton Island. I always look forward to Cape Breton Island stories. This one is certainly a Cape Canada weird story. In French Cove, Nova Scotia, again on Cape Breton Island, a local man named Leo Murray has created a sort of roadside attraction by nailing nearly 3,000 license plates from all around the world onto trees along his driveway. With plates now covering along his driveway. He's been doing it for years, and it's at the point now where plates cover dozens of trees, and they go up the tree as high as 30 feet. Here's the story of Cape Breton's license plate forest.
Alabama, they're from Germany, they're from, I don't know, they're from everywhere.
It's the kind of thing that stops drivers in their tracks. Thousands of license plates nailed to the trees along the side of this Cape Breton highway. Leo Murray has been collecting plates for about 20 years. He now has well over 3,000 plates. For him, it's just a hobby.
2 old cars I have when I bought the property, and that's where it started. It kept going from there.
Murray says people stop daily to visit the license plate forest, and he says people are welcome to stop and take a look.
As long as you take pictures and don't take my plate, you're good.
It's kind of my civic address. I tell people 7863 across the road from all the license plates. Can't miss me.
Neighbors say they're used to people stopping by at the local art installation, which even includes more than a dozen antlers that animals have shed naturally in the nearby forest.
Sometimes 2, 3, 4 times a day, there's people at the end of my driveway taking pictures.
And so they block your driveway sometimes, but does it bother you that much?
No, not at all. I just tell people you to do what you have to do and drop off license plates next time by.
Many of the license plates are incredibly old and have rusted out, but Murray is fond of each and every one.
I had lots of people offer to ask me to tell them, but no, not for sale, not to give away. What the other one is? We took her out.
Sometimes people drop off plates at his home, but most of them Murray finds himself at the junkyard.
Just some collection.
Wow, and then it just grew from there. You just kept doing it.
Kept doing it, yeah. I was going to go get some more today.
So the collection will keep on growing and keep on bringing curious passerbys to the forest.
That's what I'm talking about. I love that kind of story where it's just a weird person doing a really weird thing for a long time. He's been doing this for years. I guess it started, I think it was when he bought a property. It had a couple license plates in it, and he stuck them up in the tree, and he's just been collecting them ever since. He's been doing it for like 30 years, this guy.
Yeah, he treats license plates the way you treat area codes. You know, he just finds these random numbers and letters on a plate fascinating. And it's all the different license plates from different areas and different times and different designs on them. They are cool to look at because there's so many unique little aspects about them that make them all different. So
yeah, I think it's not much different than like collecting stamps or something like that. It has this cool moment in history. Putting them up in trees, though, and on poles all around your driveway, that's not really like keeping them for history, though, because they're going to rust out. So
yeah, that's the problem.
That's the issue. He talked in the ad in the news clip about, I don't want to buy them. People offered me, I won't buy them, won't give them away. Do you think anyone's offered to buy license plates from this guy?
I'm sure there probably are some other collectors out there that probably are looking at some really cool plates and being like, man, they are going to just disintegrate out here. Can I please buy those plates?
Yeah, please. Yeah,
off
the salty
of
air
so
of
I can bring them inside and care for them and protect them.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, actually, this guy is a real danger to license plates.
Yes, but like license plates collectors must just like cringe at this. And it looks the way a lot of the plates are hung up is it's just like take the license plate and just put a nail right through the center of it. Like they're not carefully put up there. This guy is, but in a way that's a bit of a freedom. Like I collect vintage GI Joes, like the little plastic figures from the 80s. I collect those and I just carefully put them up on my shelf and I don't do anything with them. This guy would, instead of doing what I do with my GI Joes, this guy would be like out in the backyard playing with them, having wars and stuff. And there is a bit of a freedom of just enjoying it. And he's certainly doing that. He's just grabs the license plate, rarity value, it means nothing to him. Sticks a nail through the center of it 25 feet up in a tree in his driveway and chuckles in that smoker laugh. Guy definitely
take me
smokes.
plates. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm now conflicted about it. I see your point. I do think that this man is a predator towards license plates, and he's holding them hostage. He's captured them. He's hurting them, and it's like I don't know if this is too controversial to say, but it's almost like he's treating them like Jesus, he's nailing them to a cross.
Wow. Yeah, there is some similarities there and definitely some symbolism. I'd be okay with it if the majority of the plates would have been thrown away anyway. Like he said, I was in the clip. He's like, I was actually going to go get some now. Like, I think he just goes to like the scrapyard for scrap vehicles and stuff and grabs Nova Scotia plates and puts them up. I think I'm okay with that. What would I be uncomfortable with if these are like old, rare, collectible plates?
I'm sure a lot of them are. He's been doing it for years. He's got a lot of them. I mean, at a certain point in time, why would you be putting up the same plates that are from the same relative time frame of the past 10, 15 years, which is what it would be?
Remember we did the story about the guy with the hammer collection? This is sort of like a little bit of that. It's just like, I love this strange thing. I have a ton of them. Come up and take a look.
Yeah, no, I get you there, but he was protecting his hammers. His hammers were indoors. His hammers were properly displayed. And he was fixing them and putting love into them and care. What this man is doing to these plates, some of them being rare and unique, he's letting them completely be destroyed by the elements. And he also he starts off the display by driving a friggin' nail right through them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to disagree on this story. No, actually, I don't think we are. I'm conflicted on it. I call it like a license plate conundrum or a license plate paradox.
Well, then
a license plate issue.
Yeah, but when I first saw this story, I thought it was adorable. I thought it was quirky, unique. It's cool. But then the more I thought about it, I really started to get turned off by what this man was doing. And I think you're either for the license plates or you're against the license plates. So if you have this is a black and white issue. So I think, what side of the fence do you want to be on? Because historians will look back at this time and they'll say there were the people that spoke out for the license plates, and then there were people that sat by and let it all happen. And that's who you are right now, unless you take a side.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to let historians judge me. I've made my decision. And
I've already judged you.
The judgment won't last long because we're at the end of our show. Episode 222 was one of my favorites in a long time. And I give the credit to that, to opening the show strong with the 222 scam. I'm so happy that came together.
Yeah, that really worked out. Yeah.
Let's put a bow on this. Let's not screw it up now. We've in the world of baseball, we just pitched a no-hitter. Let's put a bow on this. Handsome Aaron Airport. Till next time.
Jordan Bus Stop Backhoe License Plate Bonaparte. Until next time.
We started the show with a story about unexpected fireworks. And it was in the context of them being a bad thing. Just having sat on that and having reflected on that story, I think unexpected fireworks actually raise fireworks to the next level. That makes them more exciting, right? Like a fireworks display isn't that magical, especially when you know it's coming. But if it just spontaneously happened, that's pretty cool. I think these people who poo-pooed the unexpected fireworks, they need to live a little.
And Jordan, until next time, I want you to go outside right now to your vehicle, the vehicle that you use to carry yourself safely to and from school and work and the grocery store and everything else. And on that vehicle is a license plate. And that license plate is a very effective tool in identifying your vehicle and who you are and where you're from and what you're all about. And look at that license plate dead in the eye and say, I'm okay with you being crucified on a tree with other license plates and left there to die, and then just walk away.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
Hey, this is Kat calling from Halifax. I'm helping to keep Canada weird as much as possible and also scarring my 79-year-old mother when she decides to come in the room at the exact time you guys said the word orgy at least 75 times. So, yeah.